You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 142. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jordan Andrews.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out this show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Feed It Comics, and Super Podcasto Magnifico at rhymeswithgeek.com. Comic Reflections is also available on backissueheroes.com, the home of classic comics on the web. And if you enjoy this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, the first story we're going to talk about on this episode is the kid... All stories on this that we're going to talk about in this episode can be found in Showcase Presents Aquaman Volume 1. And the first story we'll talk about is The Kid from Atlantis from Adventure Comics number 269. 69. Written by Robert Bernstein and with art by Ramona Fradon.
Yes, indeed.
Now, this is a pretty important story because it is the introduction, the first appearance of Aqualad.
And a good one it is.
Indeed.
So the splash page is him terrified of fish.
Aqualad
being terrified of fish. Who would have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? Not off to a good start.
Yeah.
If you're an aquatic superhero and being afraid of fish, that's kind of lame.
But that's the thing, is he didn't start out as an aquatic superhero. So Aquaman is again on one of his sea patrols.
Right.
Like he does.
Yeah.
And he finds this boy floating around on the ocean in an airless chamber.
Weird. Hey, isn't that kind of like what happened to that girl who was from Atlantis, the Atlantean reject?
Yeah.
In what was it? Aquaman meets Aqua Girl.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is Aquaman meets the kid from Atlantis.
So here's some continuity. That other story, one and done, but introduced this element to the Aquaman mythos that we are now seeing again.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Aquaman opens the capsule and finds the kid unconscious, but, still very much alive.
Yeah.
He wakes up surrounded by Aquaman and his fish pals and starts flipping out.
You are freaking out, man.
So he screams for Aquaman to take him away. And he says, well, they won't harm you. They're my sea patrol. But he's still freaking out.
Yeah.
And so Aquaman says, okay, they're gone.
No.
And the kid says, I've been afraid of fish from the day I was born. And Aquaman notices that he's got purple eyes. Mm-hmm. And also notices that they've sort of been communicating telepathically.
Yeah.
Because he realized, I haven't been saying anything out loud. That's weird.
Weird.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Aquaman discovers he's an Atlantean reject, but then also discovers that, unlike the other Atlantean rejects, he's a grown boy.
Oh, instead of a baby.
Instead of a baby.
Yeah.
So obviously, he can breathe underwater.
Yeah.
So then he's like, well, why
is he still in that capsule, yo?
Why did they launch him off? And it's because he was terrified of fish. So again, with the backstory...
Yeah.
With Aquaman's backstory, Aqualad asks how he can know all his information, and then Aquaman goes on to explain his backstory. But then Aqualad shares his. And he talks about the fact that he can live in the water, but was terrified of fish, and no matter what anybody did, they couldn't cure him of it. Mm-hmm. And Aquaman says, well, maybe I'll give it a try. So... Aquaman comes rolling in one day with a rolling hoop.
That is so 1800s, baby.
But apparently 1960s as well.
A hoop and a stick, man.
It's like ball in a cup.
Ball in a cup.
Ball in a cup.
Wait, is that in a movie or something?
I think it was in an episode of Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
They talk about this ball and this cup, and it's a game that you play, and you try to get the ball in the cup. And that's the whole game.
Yeah.
Kind of like a rolling hoop. You got a stick and a hoop.
And you keep it rolling.
Roll the hoop.
Wow. Anyway.
And so Aquaman brings the stick and the hoop and says, rolling a hoop is a basic sport for kids the world over. Maybe when you were a kid, Aquaman.
Maybe when your great-grandfather was a kid. But anyway.
So he gives the stuff to Aqualad, and he starts playing with it and having a great time. And Aquaman then points out that the stick and the hoop are both electric eels.
Are they electric eels or just eels?
Maybe they're just... Oh, nope, just eels.
But still, that's so creepy.
Yeah, like
here's
some Silence of the Lambs stuff right there. Just
it puts the lotion on his skin. You know, like, yikes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You were playing with the thing you were most afraid of.
Ah! Great parenting, Aquaman.
And so Aqualad, as predicted, freaks out when he finds out.
Yeah.
And runs away. And then Aquaman says, well, what else do you want to do? And he says, well, is there a sliding pond around? Kind of solidifying the fact that this kid is from the 1800s. Is there a swimming hole?
Man, a sliding pond?
A sliding pond.
I don't know what that is, so...
But Aquaman recreates one with a whale's spout.
Oh, okay.
And again, the kid doesn't notice until the end. And he freaks out.
Yeah.
Again. But he starts warming up to the stuff.
Yeah.
And Aquaman commands Topo to grab the kid and swing him around like a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Which doesn't freak the kid out for some reason.
Maybe he's, like, stopped being such a weenie.
I guess, but I mean, I'm not particularly afraid of sea life. But
Yeah.
if an octopus grabbed me and swung me around, I'd be pretty substantially freaked out.
Yeah, I don't know. So.
But he isn't. So that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And Aqualad starts, you know, getting over his fear. So Aquaman starts taking on patrols, and they find a sailboat in distress whose sail was ripped. And Aquaman says, well, I'll command a giant manta ray to act as your sail.
Okay.
And all he says is that the second you reach land, you better release him. Because, you know, he can only survive for 3 hours in comic book time out of water.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Aqualad saying, please release me, let me go. I'm not going to sing that whole song, but I usually don't.
But he's cool. Aqualad is cool with it. He says,
Yeah.
I don't know what I was afraid of. I was wrong about fish. Fish don't want to hurt anybody.
Except for smaller fish that they want to eat.
Yeah.
But, you know, minor details.
I don't know what kind of traumatic experience Aqualad must have had to make him be afraid of fish.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like when kids get bit by dogs and then...
But you ever have, like, just a fear that's not based on anything? You just have an aversion to something?
Well, sure, I guess. Not that I can think of, but I'm sure if I sat down and thought about it, I would.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the day, they've come across a big yacht, Aquaman and Aqualad do, and their pilot was knocked unconscious in a deck accident. And all I'm thinking is like, shuffleboard gone wrong. I don't know.
Right.
What sort of deck accident? Maybe a few too many drinks and a nice dame.
Okay.
They called them that in the 1960s, right?
Sure. That might be a little earlier, but yeah.
Who knows?
Dame is definitely more of a 30s and 40s thing, I think. But
I'm still catching up.
It's okay. It's not that big a deal.
And Aquaman says, well, I'll get 100 pilots for you. And they say, no, we just need one. But he says, I'm going to do it anyway. That doesn't actually.
Yeah, okay.
So he gets...
Are they flying fish?
They're pilot fish.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, grown...
Is that even a real fish?
Probably, but they, in name only.
Yeah.
It says, normally they act... So they give a nice biology lesson here.
Nice.
Normally they act as the guides and protectors of sharks, warning them of danger. But this time they'll guide a freighter to safety.
Holy moly.
And shortly after that...
Yeah.
A huge plane is going down into the water. No. And Aquaman commands the... Oh, no. He has Aqualad command some luminous fish to light up the ocean as a runway.
Light up the sky.
And Aqualad does it.
Ooh, I can't believe I brought out the Van Halen. Okay. So.
Aqualad does it, and then Aquaman says, okay, you're cured. You can go back to Atlantis.
Okay.
And Aqualad doesn't really want to. He wants to stay and hang out with Aquaman. But he says, nope, you're going anyway. It's kind of rude. But,
well,
back to the only land he knows, I guess.
Yeah.
But then a school of swordfish...
Resists temptation to sing another song.
A school of swordfish block Aquaman's view from the returning home Aqualad. And then the next day, Aqualad shows up and says, I didn't go home at all. I just got naked and commanded some swordfish to swim into my suit. Back into the hatch. And then apparently he had a spare suit in that capsule of his.
Okay.
Conveniently.
Convenient.
And he put it on and came to surprise Aquaman.
Well, isn't that neat?
So now they're best pals. Until
our next story.
The Menace of Aqualad.
Jeez, I know. From Adventure Comics number 270, written by Robert Bernstein, with art by Ramona Fradon. Yes.
Yeah. So
the Menace of the splash panel. He looks evil.
Yeah, he's got a harpoon gun.
But he's just a little kid too.
Coming straight for it's like that other Twilight Zone episode with the kid that like controls his whole family.
Oh, go him in the center of the cornfield. That one? Yeah, that's creepy. Billy Mooney, yeah. Okay, so, yes, things.
It begins with, for some strange reason, completely unrelated to the rest of the story, Aquaman is given a warm reception by a passing ship whose cook baked a cake for Aquaman's birthday, which is apparently that coming Sunday.
Okay.
And so Aqualad and Aquaman are eating the cake, and Aquaman laments that he has no home for... Or Aquaman laments that he has no home for Aqualad to live in.
Right.
He's like, I'm just a traveling nomad.
Aquaman was... he's a rambling man.
He's a rambling man. Ramble.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
Is that like some Raffi stuff, like because you have kids?
Oh, no.
What is that?
It's like some blues junk.
Well,
it's kind of like from... no, I love blues. I don't think it's legitimately junk. That would be ridiculous.
Like,
I think it's from The Nightmare Before Christmas or something.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah.
One of Tim Burton's few good movies. Jeez, like the early part of his career, we're like, okay, he's making good stuff. And then just at some point just went, turned to just complete crap and stayed there.
Yes.
So, anyway.
So Aqualad says, I'm just happy being with you. Aww.
Okay. No. I'm not judging. Anyway.
Some Greek
mentorship
mentorship
Oh my
going
god.
on there. Is that what you're
I can't believe you just went, but yes.
So, moving away from that, as they do abruptly in this comic,
right?
There's a marine exhibit that Aquaman is lending his expertise to for the benefit of retired seamen.
Right. Let's be clear. Seamen. So.
Austin Powers. Anyway. There's
which one? Because I've only seen the first two. Oh, that's why. I've only seen the first couple.
It's pretty. It's still funny. I like it.
So.
But Aquaman goes a death-defying dive from a helicopter a half-mile up into some seriously shallow water, and people are freaking out, looking away, like, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill himself!" But at the last second, some whales come by and, with their spouts, keep him from crashing to his demise. But then, very shortly after, some old woman fishing at the end of a pier falls into the water, starts screaming for help. Aquaman saves her and says, "I run a fortune-telling business. Let me tell your fortune."
And that's a really good old lady voice.
Oh, thanks.
Not really.
It's probably terrible. I'm not an old lady. So
okay.
Sue me.
So, it's okay. I don't think I have a case. Really.
So Aquaman doesn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
In fact, it says, "I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I don't believe in superstitions. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious."
Oh my gosh. What's another word that's old-timey and would be great to use here is hokum.
Hokum that's a good word.
Oh man, I love that word. So anyway.
So she tells a fortune that there's great danger for Aquaman from someone new that has come into his life, and that someone is going to imperil him and replace him It's like, whoa.
That's a strange fortune cookie.
Yeah. So then Aqualad is freaking out, like, oh, that's talking about me. But then they leave, and that's it.
It reminds me of a great idea I had for, like, prank fortune cookies. Like, that say, like, you will die of cancer this year. You know, like, can you imagine getting that?
Oh, that would be so rough.
I would love to see the look on someone's face when they read that.
Oh my gosh.
What if they actually had cancer and then started crying or something? No.
That would just be yikes.
So,
but
anyway.
Tobo comes and
I'm a horrible person.
finds Aqualad and Aquaman and warns them about this ship that's sinking without enough lifeboats. So they go to rescue them, and then Aqualad gets his bell rung.
What?
By the sinking ship. Gets hit in the head.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
That's exactly what I mean.
Okay.
So his head is in all kinds of distress, but Aquaman crafts a lifeboat out of eels. Until the help arrives.
I like it's how they weave themselves together into, like, wow, Aquaman's aquatic sewing circle.
Now make us a quilt.
Oh man. So
the figurehead detached from the ship, and Aqualad is kind of sneakily and menacingly.
Sneakily, I love it. Sorry.
Kind of taking it away and asks Aquaman, "Wasn't Neptune the king of the sea before you were born?"
Hey, we try not to talk about that.
Yeah. And he says, "Well, good. That means after you retire, or if something happens to you, I'll be the next king of the sea."
What?
It's like, well, so what did that head injury do to you exactly? So he runs away with the figurehead, Aqualad, and Aquaman
turned him in with a good son. Starring Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood. So anyway,
Aquaman,
like those always have the bad seed. The evil child movies. Right. Okay, sorry.
So Aquaman goes to follow him, but Aqualad commands the squids to ink up the water to prevent Aquaman from following. So he's like, "What is going on?" And Aquaman finds Aqualad and talks to him about it. He's like, what were you doing running off with that figurehead? And then he says, "Aquaman, we can't breathe for more than an hour out of water unless we wear a water breathing device, right?" He's like, "Well, yeah, and I usually take a helmet." So, giving no explanation for why he asked that question, he says, "Let's go on a patrol." And so Aquaman is starting to think, is this kid trying to, like, trap me on land without a helmet while he has one? What are all the different ways he's going to try to...
Right, it's weird.
...off me? Then they find some pirates menacing this ocean expedition.
There we go, yeah.
And Aqualad just takes off.
Okay.
So the pirates circle Aquaman.
Yeah.
Aqualad takes off. He's like, "Okay, you're leaving me high and dry here."
Hey, good terminology. Excellent descriptor there.
Oceanic puns, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
So then he blinds the pirates with luminous fish, his favorite undersea creature. I'm sure his favorite is the luminous fish.
I don't know. He seems to use the eels and whale spouts quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know, but yeah.
So then, as Aquaman finishes off the last of the pirates, he sees Aqualad picking up one of the pirates' spear guns, and then has a fishbowl in the other arm, and then takes off again.
Like a helmet.
Like a helmet.
Okay, yeah.
Like a helmet fishbowl.
Weird. Okay. Just want to be clear.
And so Aquaman's still wondering, like, what's going on. He says, "I can't explain my actions. You can think what you like." So Aqualad's getting a little attitude.
Jeez.
I'd introduce him to the back of my hand, but that's just me.
Yeah, okay.
For the record, I do not do that with my kids. Don't call social services.
Well, ours is a little young to get backhanded.
Yeah, well, I don't do it to kid either.
Oh, yeah.
But, this was the 1960s. It was a different time back then.
The taste of the back of my hand is so sweet. Aquaman just has to keep his pimp hand strong in the story. That's really what's going on here.
Oh gosh.
That's so horrible on so many levels. God, yeah.
So Aquaman thinks that Aqualad is becoming obsessed with the fortune teller's prophecy because he's all sewing a net and then traps Aquaman in it.
What? But then Aquaman calls a swordfish to cut him loose.
No.
No?
It just comes toward him. Like, he doesn't command it. A narwhal, which is actually a narwhal, but...
Yeah. Oh, I see what they're saying.
Comes swimming toward him, and he isn't the one controlling it.
Oh, right. I remember
struggles and jumps out of the way and just barely misses getting thwacked
stabbed, yo.
By the narwhal.
I love how the narwhal's horn or whatever punk goes into like the mast.
That is such an awesome panel.
Yeah, it's like straight from Jabberjaw. You know what I mean, though. Yeah.
And so Aquaman says he's going to account for his behavior or back he goes to Atlantis. I'm going to deport you.
To my own kingdom. Think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So then he says, you're sorry I was trapped. You're sorry that you left me alone to fight those pirates. And so what were you doing? And so Aqualad takes Aquaman to his underwater shrine that he makes for Aquaman's birthday.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, so it was all a trick. He wasn't evil at all.
Yeah, he says, I was just decorating our underwater pad.
Wait, who was controlling the narwhal then?
You know, there's a lot of things about this that, like, scream he's actually a terrible kid.
Yeah.
Like, it legitimately says that means after you retire or if something happens to you, I'll be the next king of the sea.
Yeah, weird. Okay.
Like, that's not something you would say...
I wouldn't say that to my mentor.
As a normal child.
No.
That's just not what you say.
It is weird. But then again, this kid may have, like, problems.
That's true. You know, he was abandoned. He was terrified of fish.
Yeah.
It probably has some baggage.
Yeah.
Probably has some baggage.
Okay, so I think the next story we've got, and I think the last for this episode...
That is true.
...is called The Second Deluge.
Yes.
It's from Adventure Comics number 271. Robert Bernstein wrote it, and Ramona Fradon did the art.
Yet again,
yes,
the dream team of Robert Bernstein and Ramona Fradon.
Oh, so that transitions soonish to being like, different artists, but that's.
But it's good art, so you know.
Yeah, it's good.
We enjoy it while we.
It's good.
Yeah. So the splash page is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's Captain Noah.
Yeah.
Prophesying a second deluge
so,
in a boat full of lions and oxen and giraffes and
horseshoes and blue moons.
And it's just this really cool deluge, obviously.
Yeah.
But we begin with
deep sighs from me. So, yeah.
We begin at Aquaman's undersea cave home, his new undersea cave home.
Hey, that's a story that remains consistent from the previous
Continuity.
story. What? So anyway.
Aquaman receives a telepathic message and signals to Aqualad to get out of bed and follow me.
Stay out of Riverdale. Oh, sorry.
And so they pop up topside and see a big ark. They're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they approach the strange vessel, and this is great. His dialogue, Captain Noah, begins with, "Hearken! Hearken, Aquaman! I am Captain Noah." So he tells them, the next great deluge is coming. Everything's going to perish except the passengers on my ark. And Aquaman's like, except me and this dude, because we can breathe underwater.
Yo.
Yeah, I don't get this because he's essentially asking Aquaman to lend him some sea critters for his ark.
And yet, if they're in the sea, they're fine.
Flood.
They're good.
Critters they're going to be fine.
Good to go.
But Aquaman's like, well, fine. Take whatever sea critters you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But then a big hurricane storm thing happens. And Aqualad was like, well, I wasn't even sure I believed him when he said it. But here it comes. And a big plane is coming down in the storm. So Aquaman uses his powers of telepathy to have his whales surface and form a landing strip for the plane. Like, do the whales get a say in this? Like, they're going to have to go to the chiropractor for months after that.
Well, and can a plane really land on... I'm sorry, that's not a smooth landing.
No.
But,
not at all.
I can see a helicopter landing on a whale. Dude, yes! I want that. Michael Bay, if you're listening.
We need helicopters landing on whales.
That's crazy.
We, the viewing public, demand.
But we don't hold back and don't have the whale explode, okay?
Yeah, that would be cruel.
But see, that's what would happen in a Michael Bay movie, though.
Let's get a different director.
Yeah. I just thought, what's something crazy?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the storm dies down, and then Aquaman and Aqualad go to chat up Captain Noah. And Captain Noah says that was just the beginning, as he's hauling up in this panel a big swordfish.
Yeah.
So
buttons. Oh.
Aquaman whispers to Aqualad, "Nobody knows the future. People predict the end of the world all the time."
Correct. Aquaman, you are the voice of reason.
That's true. And this was back in the 60s, man. This guy knows what's up.
Indeed.
And he says Captain Noah will wind up with a lot of hungry animals and fish to feed, and no deluge.
I don't understand. Why would he need sea creatures? That's so dumb.
Yep.
So anyway.
You know, it helps tie it into Aquaman.
I guess, but it's already an arc on the sea. There you go.
But then Aqualad says, well, what if he's right? Devil's advocate over here. Like, well, then we'll still be able to breathe underwater, you idiot. So,
you idiot.
So chill.
I would love if those were the actual...
So chill.
If that was the real dialogue.
Yeah. So then Aquaman is ordering his octopus pals to bail water out of a fishing boat that got flooded in the last deluge. And then there's some other small fish, or other small ships that require aid after the first big hurricane thing happens.
Yeah.
But then another storm happens.
Yeah.
And some ships get seaweed caught in their stuff. And some boats are drifting helplessly in some fog. But, you know, Aquaman does his Aquaman thing and everything's fine.
Okay.
He uses his pilot fish again to help guide. Yeah. Just wah. So then he goes to chat up Noah again after the second great storm. And, you know, same old story. But then Noah invites them on his boat and shows him all of these fish that he has. And Aquaman's like, dude, you know your fish stuff. Okay, I'm starting to believe you a little, I guess.
Yes.
And then as Aquaman and Aqualad swim away, Captain Noah does the mustache twisting.
Twirling his mustache. So we know he's evil. It's a foolie.
Little does he suspect that I'm the one that created each storm. Ooh. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
So then it shows how he does it with some roof apparatus, is what he calls it. Elevate the roof apparatus.
Of course.
So his whole shtick is that the ocean contains 250 parts by weight of gold per 100 million parts of seawater.
Okay.
Although the quantity of gold particles in seawater is enormous, the cost of recovering these particles has been greater than the value of gold obtained. Okay. Until now. So he sucks up the seawater and kind of filters out the gold, like, as he says, similar to cloud seeding.
Okay. Oh, but his machinery creates all these storms and crap.
Right, so he's lifting up the water to filter out the gold, but as he does that, it gets superheated and causes all these storms.
Okay.
So he puts on this Noah thing.
The Noah act is to kind of cover his trail. Okay.
It's coming, even though, you know, there's the same intensity.
Yeah.
So another storm hits because he uses the machine again that we get to see this time. And there's an island resort that's getting demolished by this storm. And thieves begin looting the town.
Man.
And so Aquaman's like, we got to do some stuff.
Superhero and stuff.
And he gets needlefish to stitch these thieves together by their
not
britches.
A real fish.
No.
Not a real fish.
But helpful in this.
Needlefish.
In this instance.
Are you kidding me? So anyway.
And so after they dispatch the sea looters, he goes and visits Captain Noah.
Yeah.
With some whale friends of his.
Of course.
Who begin pushing the Ark into the mainland. And he's like, what's going on? And then a Coast Guard gunboat demands his surrender.
Okay.
Which would be pretty sweet. A Coast Guard gunboat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Also, watching them arrest somebody like that looks like this dude would be pretty hilarious.
Pretty great, actually.
The big beard that he's got going on.
Yes.
Anyway, so Aquaman says that he sent his... When he was giving him the fish for his Ark, he was actually sending them as spies so that they could telepathically relay information about his big gold machine thing. So Aquaman's like, I'm wise to your schemes, Captain Noah. And then he says he knew that the whole thing was a crock when...
A crock of malarkey.
When Captain Noah showed him his big aquarium setup. And he was like, dude, you got all of these fish wrong.
And he made him look dumb.
Yeah. So then it ends with some amazing undersea puns.
Yeah.
Aqualad says his deluge was only a flood of lies.
Wow.
And then Aquaman says if he stuck to land animals, his story wouldn't sound so fishy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's our show.
Groaner after groaner. Okay, so, hey, Comic Reflections is a great show and we like doing it, but hey, we really want to hear from you, the listeners. Please drop us a line at comic.reflections@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter. It's @comicreflection with no S, because it wouldn't fit. We don't have enough characters. They don't give you enough characters,
yeah,
Joe.
They don't.
And I didn't underscore or anything. It's just one word, Comic Reflection. But, and you can like us on Facebook. Join our Facebook discussion group, and it's easy to remember. It's the Comic Reflections Facebook discussion group. I think that's what it's called. Podcast. Facebook. You'll find it. If you search it, it will be there. It's bad that I can't quite remember what it's called.
Well, it's a long...
It is long.
It's a long but easily searchable group.
Yes. So, if you're searching Comic Reflections...
It's popping up.
It's popping up on Facebook. So, anyway, that's our show. Abrupt ending time.